Hello, this is Mrs. Groves, and today we're talking about a very important formula that you need to memorize. You know about the quadratic equation, and here's a formula that can be used to solve quadratic equations. So what I suggest that you do is that you get an index card or a sheet of paper and you write this down so that you can begin to memorize it. What we're going to do this week is you are going to be doing a project, which is either going to be a PowerPoint presentation or it's going to be a short video or a poster or whatever you want to do to demonstrate to me that you have memorized the quadratic equation and the quadratic formula. So, when you're ready with your paper, then you come back here and I'm going to make this bigger and go through the quadratic equation and the quadratic formula. So the quadratic equation, which I always abbreviate QE, you already know it. It's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Quadratic equation must equal 0. And these coefficients a, b, and c are real numbers that will be used in the quadratic formula. And it's important that you know that a can't be equal to 0, because if a is 0, then you no longer have a quadratic equation. So this is a quadratic equation. It's the easy one. QE, quadratic equation. And you must understand the difference between the quadratic equation and the quadratic formula. And how they're linked is that the A, B, and C are the numbers that are going to go into the quadratic formula. So that probably should go on one side of your index card, or take a sheet of paper and fold it in half, and that's one side. And now we're going to go through the formula. And you need to memorize the formula and the words that go with it. All right? So, here's what the formula looks like. And in fact, I am going to pull this away. And the quadratic formula is x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of the quantity. It's everything under this square root. B squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So that's the formula, and that's the way it needs to be. That's the way it must look. Now, not only do you have to demonstrate the formula, but you have to make sure that you use the right words. So, the words are x equals the opposite of b. It's the opposite of b. It's not negative b. So if you go onto the internet and you look for songs on the quadratic formula, they always say negative b. But I want you to make sure that you understand it's not negative b, it's the opposite of b. Very important. Now, plus, okay, or minus the square root and it's the square root of everything. So it's the square root of the quantity. Okay? Another key word is it's quantity. Quantity means parentheses. So basically there are parentheses, hidden parentheses in there. And you don't have to put those, but those are hidden parentheses. So plus or minus the square root of the quantity b squared minus 4ac. Okay. So we've got quantity of b squared minus 4ac. Another word that I want to make sure that you use is all divided. Okay? This is a big division sign. Everything on the top is all divided by 2a. So the words really help you make sure that you get the quadratic formula correct. So if we go through and look at this, x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of the quantity b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So, and on the handout I give you, you can't substitute other words. Do not say all over. It's all divided. Okay? Make sure that you are using these words correctly. And I'm looking forward to your projects demonstrating that you have memorized the quadratic formula and the quadratic equation. And I'm hoping that you will be able to make the connection between the two. And the connection is that A, B, and C feed the quadratic formula. Have a good day.